Hey, what's up, GP fam? This is Gary from GP Performance and Tuning, and today we're doing something a little different. We are outside enjoying probably like one of the last few nice days of weather. I have a feeling after today is gonna go downhill and fast when it comes to weather over here in Cleveland. But today we're not in the shop, we're not dynoing anything, we're not doing anything crazy like that. But we are out here, okay, enjoying a pair of beautiful bikes, and I'm actually at 650 Eve's private residence, and he invited me out to come and try out two beautiful bikes. Okay, here they go. We have the 2022 Aprilia RSV4 factory, all right, and then we have his 2019 Ducati V4R, and we just did a trip with both of these bikes. Nothing crazy around town here, nothing too far, but we did compare both of them, and the differences are like staggering. Just the differences between the RSV4 and the V4R are just staggering. Both these bikes are beautiful, don't get me wrong, they're both beautiful, but when it comes to handling, when it comes to sounds, when it comes to aesthetics, these two bikes are actually very different. They do both run the V4 engine, so that's, just it has 4 pistons, but they're in a V configuration. So they both run similar engines, but that's probably where the comparison stops. These bikes are just worlds apart, and I mean, I rode both of them, and for me to say that, it's crazy. I know Eve's making his video, so I'm gonna let his video speak for himself. Say what's up, Eve. So these two bikes, they're different. They have a different character to both of them. So I'm gonna do, these bikes are already warmed up, so this is not a cold start, but let me do a sound comparison here. Nothing crazy. And then we're gonna do the Ducati. Make sure he doesn't have any gear yet. Oh, wrong button. So those are two different sounds. Now, in my honest opinion, I like the Aprilia more. It's more grunty, it's more manlier, if you ask me. It just sounds really, really good. And that's still that's just a slip-on. Like, he still has more exhaust to replace on that eventually. But that bike is phenomenal. I really love that bike. The Ducati, on the other hand, it's a Ducati. It has that specific sound to it and everything, but it just doesn't sound like the Aprilia. When I was riding the Aprilia, you could hear the Aprilia over the Ducati easily. So that just says a lot. Now, the Ducati aesthetically is more pleasing to look at. You got the carbon fiber wheels, you got the carbon fiber winglet, you got carbon fiber here and there. You know what I mean? This is a full carbon fiber subframe. So it has a lot of carbon fiber tidbits here and there, as where The Aprilia doesn't have it yet. I know that it's coming. It's just going to take time because this is a pretty relatively new bike in the market. So I know that there's probably a lot of manufacturers that are still working on delivering carbon fiber tidbits for it here and there. So it's just going to take a matter of time. I know Eve has some wheels coming for it. Eve, what wheels you guys going to put on this? ThyssenKrupp wheels are going to go on this. Gold, so they're gonna get that tint of gold in them. So it's gonna get ThyssenKrupp wheels on this, which is gonna really set the bike off really nice. You know, the gold is kind of like the gold and the black is kind of the theme with this bike. So he's gonna try to keep that theme going, even though they're carbon fiber wheels. King David, which is his painter, is gonna go ahead and put that gold tint into the clear coat. I'm assuming is a clear coat of those wheels to get them to stand out. And I'm pretty sure that he's probably going to get a lot more carbon fiber pieces for this once they become available and Manny from Moto Million is able to get them to him. Now, what is my honest opinion on these bikes? Okay, I rode both of them. Hopefully you guys can see me. I rode both of them. I never rode a Ducati before this today, and I did ride this Ducati, and it's a good bike. It really is a good bike. Compared to the Aprilia, it comes a little short. Not by much, but it does come up short to the Aprilia. The Aprilia handles better, it has a better rideability. Even though I'm not a fan of the quick shifter, I think that the quick shifter needs a little bit more work. But it's not terrible. It's not like the ZX10, which the ZX10 is probably known as the worst factory quick shifter that any manufacturer has put on the bike. But the quick shifter on this one is not there yet. You know what I mean? It could definitely benefit from a little bit more work on the quick shifter. But that's me looking at it from a tuner's perspective. This does have the Brent tune on it. The on and off throttle is pretty good. It's not choppy. It's pretty smooth, and I was actually really happy with the way that the bike like cruised. You know, I didn't feel like I had to really watch my hand on where the throttle was at, you know. So it was really you know, reserved. But with that being said, you can't help but jump on this bike and smile. Like, you're gonna jump on this bike and you're gonna smile. Like, you're gonna have a good time on it, because I feel that even though it's a really well put together bike, it's not so put together that it's too refined, like the BMW S1000. The S1000 to me is a bike that's really truly refined, and that you know, they care more about, you know, making sure that the bike is like great overall. You know what I mean? It's the best that it can be overall. Where the Aprilia is like, it still has the same mentality, but it's a little bit more rougher. You know, you get on this bike, you got the cross plane V4 just making that crazy, you know, throbbing sound, and like, you know, you get on it and it sounds loud, and it's a fun bike to ride, you know. So, you know, compared to the Ducati, you know, I enjoy the Aprilia a lot more than the Ducati. The Ducati does have better linear power, though. I will say that when you ride the Ducati and you get on it, the power is smoother. Like, you can feel the Ducati making the power and you accelerating. You know what I mean? As to where like the Aprilia, it's a little bit kind of like a dog down low, but then like it gets into its stride, and then you start feeling the power. You start feeling the acceleration and all that cool stuff, and which is, it's okay with me. You know, I'm not a big person when it comes to that, you know, but it's actually a really good bike. So those are my 2 bits. We had fun. Me and E were out, what, 3-4 hours already riding these? Yeah, so it's crazy. Let's see what E thinks about them. E, what you think about the Aprilia and the Ducati?
Well, I'm just sitting here tallying up the scorecard here, Mr. Gary.
Oh, okay.
And Oh, thought I had it all done, but I will tell you this. You clearly favor the RSV4 over the V4R.
Yeah.
Overall scoring, you gave it. You gave the. I'll go out in the light so we can see a little better. The overall scoring, you gave the RSV4 27 points.
Okay.
And you gave the V4R 24.5.
Yeah, 20. There, I did put a 0.5 in there.
And the breakdown of that is for style, you gave the V4R 5.
Yep.
And you gave the RSV4 4.
Yep.
For handling, you gave the V4R 4.
Yep.
And the RSV4 5.
Yep.
Power, you gave it 5.3.
Yep.
V4R 5, RSV4 3.
Yep.
For comfort, V4R 4 and RSV4 5.
Yep.
Definitely more comfortable bike.
Yeah, it is.
For rideability, V4R 3, RSV4 5. And then for sound, you gave the V4R 3.5 and the RSV4 5.
Yeah, the Ducati sounds good. It's just not as good, and I had to put a 0.5 in there, screw things up a bit,
Yeah, but it's cool though because
Yeah.
the tally of the points back up everything that you said, and that's what we wanted to see.
Yeah.
So again, you gave the V4R 24.5 points and the RSV4 27 points. But something that Gary said to me off camera that I don't think he recorded for you all is that he jumped off that RSV4 and said, "Man, I just love riding this bike.
Yeah. Yep.
I just love riding." I mean, that is a very bold and impactful statement right there.
Yep, and it's true.
I mean, the guy's in love with the bike.
Yeah, you ride the Aprilia, and every time you get on it, you can't help but to smile and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm on an Aprilia." You know what I mean?
And that is exactly what they were shooting for with this redesigned model.
Yeah.
They made it more comfortable. They made the ergonomics better. It's not as race inspired as it previously was. And so people can take long trips on it now. People can commute on it now if they wish.
Yeah.
It's just not this thing just used to be a full-bred track bike.
Yeah.
And now it's demonstrated with the addition of cruise control and the improved ergonomics that it could be a commuter bike, it could be a country road bike, it could be a smackdown bike.
Yeah, and we did take the bike out in the country on the roads around here, and there were leaves on the road and stuff, and you don't feel like this bike is gonna slip out from underneath you.
Not at all.
I was actually kind of pushing myself on the RSV4 where I didn't on the V4R. You know what I mean? There was parts in the road where I just didn't feel comfortable pushing the bike to like this kind of like I don't want to say its limits, but
And thank you for not doing that.
yeah, exactly. to not to his limits, you know what I mean? And I know that, and when you guys watch Ebe's videos, you guys are gonna see where there's a part where I come through and he's recording it from standing from the side of the road. I pushed the Aprilia a lot harder than I do the V4, and it was for a reason. And again, it's because the Aprilia, I felt more comfortable. I could push it a little bit more and know that if a situation comes up, the Aprilia could get me out of that situation comfortably, as where I just didn't feel like that was the same thing with the Ducati, you know what I mean? So they're two very beautiful bikes though. At the end of the day, they both perform really well. We did quite a few smackdowns on it. Unfortunately, we didn't get the road that we really wanted to, where it was long, but we did go back and forth. And when it comes to power, I don't know what you think about this. When it comes to power, both bikes are comparable, right? And it really just came down to who got the better hit.
So what I came up with is that the RSV4 is easier to launch.
Yeah.
It's easier to ride.
Yeah.
So that makes it faster than that bike. Because
Yeah.
if something's easier to launch and you can ride
Yeah.
it better, you get out on me like that,
Yeah.
it's faster. Sure, that might make more power and it definitely certainly revs
Yeah,
higher.
it does.
It's got an additional 3,000 RPM
Yeah.
rev limit, but it's useless because it wheelies all over the place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, when
it
I
just takes off on you.
when I first started riding the RSV4 and we started doing the smackdowns, the first few times I was kind of just sitting on the bike when launching, and the weight was kind of too far back, so I was wheeling a lot. So eventually I was able to figure out how to keep my weight over the tank so that when I launched, it would keep the bike flatter. I mean, there's still times it wheeling on me, but it wasn't as bad and it was more manageable. And those are the races that Ebe had a hard time getting around me on.
Yes.
If he did, you know what I mean? Because there was a couple times where he did.
not, yeah.
There was a couple times where he didn't get around me. You know what I mean? So it was just really who had the better launch at the beginning of the race that dictated the rest of the race. So Again, I want to thank Eve for inviting me out today.
My pleasure, man. Thank you, man. Gary,
And
for coming
yes,
over
sir.
and helping me out with this.
Yep. He's got a sick Instagram video that's coming out.
Yes.
I won't tell you guys what it is
And
because
it's going to the YouTube too. It's
and-
gonna be like a 4
yeah.
minute YouTube video. And
yeah.
Instagram.
So that's coming out, and that's gonna be sweet.
That you filmed.
That I
So thank you
filmed.
for
So
filming it.
that one's gonna be sweet. So keep your eyes out for that. And then I don't know when he's gonna release this video. I guess whenever he will. But keep an eye out for this video because this is gonna be a good one also. These are probably the most comparable bikes that he has in his arsenal right now.
Oh yeah.
And all that good stuff. Oh, his neighbor. But these are probably his most comparable bikes that he has in his arsenal like this. You know what I mean? The BMW is not. The BMW doesn't really. I mean, I guess it does, but it's just not the same as that bike. You know what I mean? So if you guys are out there looking for a bike and you guys are between a BMW and Aprilia, take it from me. Go with the Aprilia. You're gonna have a lot more fun with it. And you're gonna enjoy it a lot more than a BMW. And when you show up, people are gonna come around you. You know what I mean? They're gonna want to look at the Aprilia, not like the BMW where you show up at a spot and there's 20 of them lined up and you actually lose your bike because they all look the same. Get yourself an Aprilia because it looks different. You know what I mean? And I will say this before you put it on your video. Aprilia does not pay me. Eve does not pay me. Nobody pays me. All right. This is my own opinion that I put together myself. Nobody tells me what to do because I don't get paid to get paid to tell people or whatever to buy certain things. Yeah. I authentically like the Aprilia. You know what I mean?
Well said.
So
couldn't say it any better.
Yep. Anyways, guys, that's all. All right, GP fam, we appreciate the love and everything. All right, we're gonna be out. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.